The Daily Res Show with Jack Wilson.
All right, here we go. I'm Jack Wilson. Welcome to the show. And, let's start off today with some replies on emails. Hi. With some replies on emails that I got. And we're after the holiday. This is the day after Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. We're trying to catch up on some things here. It's been a crazy week. We're going to maybe hit on a few things that happened this week. But I want to get back to the last show that we did was when we left a question with Albert in Houston asked, what do we think about Trump's immigration policies? Well, I replied on that in the show that I did on my friend Robert, and I hope everyone got a chance to listen to that. It was kind of really enjoyable to do and talk about Robert. If you get a chance, listen to that. But I discussed the immigration policies in that, and I guess the bottom line is, and we can see it what's happening today. We really don't have any immigration policies. They're all over the place, and it's and the immigration policies really are what Donald Trump wants to do that particular day, or in my mind, Stephen Miller, whatever he wants to do. They just kind of run day to day on what they want to do with immigration. That's my answer, Albert, and hopefully, we can get into more and more of the discussion on immigration someday. But right now, there's just so much going on. Kind of on the same subject, I got another email because he did watch the program on the show on Robert, and at the end of that show, I kind of discussed immigration. And his question is, what do I mean about embracing immigrants? That was kind of after the show when I was discussing the things that happened to Robert. You'd have to watch it to understand. But I guess really what I was saying was we cannot kick everybody out. We are the children of immigrants. I mean, the only natives in this country are Native Americans, the Indians. And everybody else is an offspring of immigrants going back. So you can't kick everybody out, and that seems to be what the actions are going on right now. Is everybody they're just attacking everyone. Look, I'm not totally in disagreement with what Trump is doing on the border issues. I understand it was they were flooding, so I do understand some of that. However, we can't just go throwing people out. They need to be vetted. These people need to be vetted. And going back to the show that I did on Robert, you kind of get the message on that. There are people here that we really need, and we can use in our society, and it would help us. So, and I think everyone understands that to some extent. We just can't go throwing people out, and immigrants are kind of a protection against autocracies. The more immigrants we have. And the reason for that is, in my belief anyway, is that they have lived under fascism, most of them, and lived under autocratic rule, and they understand it. They don't want that. They're going to do everything they can to prevent that from happening. That's kind of my belief. So the point is, I don't think we need to just throw everybody out. We need to vet them, of course. The criminals, goodbye. I will get into another discussion on that. As a matter of fact, I'll probably just take the opportunity right now to discuss that. I'm typically, it's no secret, I used to be a Republican, I don't know, 20 years ago, I guess, in the times of Reagan. But I have since become a Democrat. I vote Democrat typically, and more on a progressive side. However, in Albuquerque, we have a mayoral race going on, and it is a runoff that's happening right now in Albuquerque. Because the three mayoral candidates that ran, none of them got a 50%. So the two highest are in a runoff. And one of them is, of course, Tim Keller, Mayor Keller, and his opponent is Darren White. Now, Darren White doesn't show as a Republican. He shows as an independent. However, Darren White is a Republican. I mean, he can change coats all that he wants. He is a Republican. Tim Keller is a Democrat, and he's a very liberal Democrat. Now, Tim Keller has been in, 8 years. I think it's 8 years. But the real issue is, and I've voted for Tim Keller both times, but this time I'm not going to. It's come down to really, for me, one issue. And if anybody follows my blog or any of the podcasts that I do, Central Avenue, Route 66 is one of the real issues. Central Avenue or Route 66 has been a problem in Albuquerque for as long as I can remember, 20 years or more. It's just been a real thorn. It's ugly, the things that happen on Central Avenue with the homeless, the drugs, the crime, and they have police over there. I can't describe how bad it is. I've done podcasts on it. I've written about it. People living on the streets. It's filthy. It's grimy. Doing drugs on the streets. And the irony of it is that it's really prevalent in these certain blocks, these areas. One of them called the war zone. But it's not in other parts of the city. So my theory on this whole thing is that they purposely, they don't know how to get rid of it, so they purposely corral all of these people over on Route 66 or Central Avenue in a certain area. And I won't mention the streets because if you're listening to this, you wouldn't know. Excuse me, but they in my mind, they corral these people over there so they're alive and breathing, and that the police can maintain some presence there and know where they're at. More or less like cattle pens, I guess, would be the only analogy I can think of. But they're not in other parts of the city. They're not over on Paseo. They're not in other business areas in the city. It's that area. Well, guess what? There are business people over there that have invested in those businesses and are trying to make a living in areas of Central Avenue or Route 66. Nob Hill being one of them. These are areas that 25, 30 years ago used to be very nice areas. Shopping, we could go over shopping. But now you can't. Bottom line, you can't do it. It's just so bad buses. You can't ride the buses. The people that ride the buses are I call them the derelicts. I mean, the homeless. It's just bad. One of the reasons is because the buses are free. And these people over in that area, that's how they meander back and forth. They get on the buses and, in the summer they're air conditioned, in the winter they're heated. And they can get on the buses, no questions asked, and just ride back and forth, back and forth. Well, Mayor Keller has done nothing about it. He's had years to do it. He has these programs in his mind that he creates these programs to do something with them. I'm speaking of the homeless and the drug people that are on drugs. In his mind, he's creating all of these off-ramps for people. Well, they're not working. They're not working. And to me, they're a pacifist excuse. And those days are gone. He's had 8 years to do it. So I've often said, I'm going to vote for somebody else other than Tim Keller. I mean, even if it's a German Shepherd, I'm going to vote for him because enough is enough and something has to be done. People are trying to live in this city. People are trying to run businesses over there. They've given up. They have given up on the economy over on Central Avenue. People have lost money. They've closed businesses. And, the other side of this is Route 66, this is an iconic highway, and they do television shows on it. We've watched them at our home, television shows on Route 66. They don't do television shows on Route 66 running through Albuquerque. Who the hell would want to watch that? Well, I can tell you, if you go back on podcasts with me, I have ridden the bus. I know in firsthand experience what it's like riding the bus on Central Avenue. I would not allow my wife to ride the bus on Central Avenue. And I've talked to people that have had experiences riding the bus on Central Avenue, and they're not good. They're not good. So the bottom line is Darren White is he's got law enforcement background. He's got positives and negatives, but he is basically running on a law and order platform, and I don't know what else he is going to do for the city. And frankly, I don't care. I really don't care. The things that he's talking about doing are taking care of the drug problem, the people living in tents, the people living on the streets, and cleaning up the war zone in Central Avenue so that people can actually go over there and do business. And then maybe we can get some traffic through Central Avenue from other people in other states. The other thing would be, and one of the things also that he's talking about doing is cutting out the free buses. The free buses are nothing more than free places for these people to live. Now, if I sound cruel, I guess maybe in a sense I am. But, it's time and enough is enough, which goes to some of the things that Donald Trump is doing. I don't disagree with everything, but it's becoming more and more that he feels like he can do it alone. He doesn't need anyone's approval. He doesn't need any debate on it. He just does it. And again, we're going to go back to autocracy on display. That's what that is. Now, will Darren White, who is trying to be mayor of Albuquerque, will he be an autocrat? I don't know. We're going to find out. But if he is elected, then we'll find out. But the passive approach that's happening here in this city, we're finished with it. We're just finished with it. Again, I am voting out of my normal corner. I know that Darren White is a Republican. I don't care. I don't care. This administration that's here has had plenty of time to do something, and they've done nothing. I mean, in that area, they've done things in other parts of the city. Don't get me wrong; it's not like they sit there do nothing, but they've kind of kicked the business owners on Central Avenue to the curb, and I don't like it. We have friends over there, and we like to go over, but it's very difficult now. So again, some of the things that Donald Trump is doing or has done. I don't 100% disagree with it, but I think he's going overboard on a lot, and that is sneaking up on autocracy. So we'll talk more about that. I do want to. It's because it's been a crazy week, and I kind of want to talk about a few things that have happened this week that this guy has done. I'm not a fan of his, but oh, by the way. So I did get also, or we got an email from a gal named Marcia in Topeka, Kansas, and I know Topeka, been there, but she was asking, wanting to know, because we have talked about it, when are we going to do shows on Santa Fe? Marcia, this weekend. We have, Carol and I have talked about it, and we just keep getting off of it because all of these other things are happening. And we're going to do them this weekend. We want to talk about Santa Fe and northern New Mexico and southern New Mexico, and also, part of Colorado, our favorite places to go and eat and visit, and maybe give some people that want to travel here a little bit of insight on preparation to come to New Mexico. And of course, everybody is always bound for Santa Fe. And I've lived and worked in Santa Fe. I know it pretty well. So we want to get that information out this weekend. And Carol and I are we've committed. We're going to do a show about that and discuss some of those places that we have been to. So one of the things, or some of the things I wanted to come in and talk about today were the things that have happened last week. I mean, it is the crazy things that happened. And we all know about Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she did and what has happened with her. And I watched that, and probably like other people, I was just, what? I can't believe that this has actually happened. But it makes sense. Totally makes sense. Marjorie, she's been in there for 5 years, and she's coming up for re-election. She was a fanatic Trump supporter to the point of being ridiculous. She and Boebert were just, I've written on those two. And I think she can sense Trump's popularity is waning, and he's not going to be running for re-election. Some of the things he's doing have just bordered on bizarre, and I think she senses that and is making an exit out of the political end of having to support him, and is just resigning. She, the bottom line was, at first she was in tearfully apologizing for all of her actions and things that she did. And it was like a come to Jesus meeting or something. I don't know. It was actually pretty pathetic, but she was apologizing profusely for everything she went on all of the media, and all of a sudden, the other media sources, all of the mainstream media, was important to her. Before, Fox was her main theme, and all of the little no bandwidth stations. But Fox was her main source. But now all of a sudden, these other media sources now became important to her. And she was on them. Well, then days later, it came out she was resigning. And everybody wondered why. Well, look, I think she has a purported net worth now, after 5 years in Congress, of somewhere around $20 million. That's not bad for 5 years' work. And I've said it before, these people go into Congress and get wealthy. I mean, when I say Congress, I'm talking senators and congressmen. Some of them you can't get rid of. You just can't get rid of them. They're making so much money off of, I think, my personal feelings are off lobbyists and whatever, but they make a lot of money. And but I think now she is looking that the Republican Party is, at this point, looking like they're going to have some difficulties in the midterms. And we hope, or I hope, that they have some difficulties in the midterms, depending who comes out and who is electable. But I think she senses that. Well, for her to have any opportunities outside of politics, she's going to need to kiss and make up with a lot of people. Otherwise, her only source of opportunity would be Fox. So by doing these apologies on the apology tours and then resigning from Congress, she doesn't need the money. Let's be honest. And she can move on to potentially getting positions or jobs in the media. With all of these sources now, she's opened up her source of opportunity by doing what she has done, and she didn't have to restrict her opportunity to just Fox. So that is it on Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's enough, I think, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. But that's what I think is going to happen with her, and we'll see. And then, of course, Trump got beat up in the courts over these actions that he brought against James Comey and Letitia James, and they threw those cases out. So, again, because of the illegal appointment of this prosecutor, which was, I didn't even get that when he did it. She has no experience, and again, this is Trump just acting like a boss. He acts like a boss who has no guardrails, and basically runs on impulse, and doesn't listen to advice or take advice unless the person that he's listened to is as crazy as that. So I don't know. But anyway, that was another bad thing that happened to Trump this week. And then we had the crazy action with the 6 Democrats that came out with their advice to, I guess, military service people, which, I didn't see anything in particular about that was what Trump calling seditionist behavior. They were giving advice that was perfectly legal. And, some might say, wow, it was good advice. Depending on where, again, we've got 3 more years. It's hard to say what he would ask people to do. He's asking for some kind of crazy things now anyway. But to call them seditionists was a little over the top, because it's forgetting the fact that he actually did take part in an insurrection and was inciting rebellious acts. And that is a definition of sedition. So I think he's forgetting all about that. And then the craziest thing was this his defense secretary wanting to court-martial Mark Kelly. I mean, come on. I mean, this is things are just getting so really ridiculous up in Washington. It's like a TV show, and I've created the name for it, and we can call it now The Life of the Donald. And it's featuring a cast of forgettable characters, but The Life of the Donald. Sounds like a really good show for the next 3 years up there. It's funny, but it's actually not very funny. And all of this has just happened in 1 week. 1 week. And I think everyone has forgotten about probably one of the most important things is what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, it's been, 4 years of fighting. Those people have been fighting for 4 years because of an invasion. Because of an invasion. They didn't do anything and start anything. They were invaded. And I think everybody is forgetting about that. We are so fortunate in our country to have water on two sides of us and friends on the other two sides. It's not like that in the rest of the world. And unfortunately, they were invaded in their lands. And they have been fighting this now for 4 years. But it doesn't even count going back to 2014 when this thing started with them in 2014. And everyone is trying to find a way to kick this to the curb, to push it aside, and look for an answer that's not there. And the answer is going to be, I'm afraid, unfortunately, that they're going to kick Ukraine to the curb, and Putin will get what he wants, and that'll be the end of it. But then maybe not. Maybe not. These things happen when people like that, bullies, get one thing. When you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's just, where is the end? I don't know that there really is an end. But it's really pathetic that they keep backing up. And, from this point, it looks like they're going to concede and just give him what he wants now. But what about later? What about later? I don't think it's right. But what can you do? I don't know. I don't have the answer. And I'm not sure anyone really knows what to do, because it's the gravity of just about anything you do is hard to really think about. But again, I want to bring it up. Don't forget about these people in Ukraine. All they want to do is live normally in their country, and unfortunately, it's not happening. This goes on all the time around the world, but something has to be done with that. Keep them in your mind, I guess, and don't let this slip away. It's another day in the life of the Donald. But as my friend Robert would say, leave it to be. Look, it's been enjoyable. I think we're going to go here now. I'm going to put this up this weekend. Carol and I will get together tomorrow or Saturday. We're going to do a show on Santa Fe and some of the travels up there, places to go, places to eat. It's a great time of the year. It is snowing up there now. It's snowing on the mountains. And the skiers are going to be up there. Santa Fe is beautiful in the winter. And if you get a chance, plan a trip there. We'll try to give you some information on where you can stay, where you can eat, and places to visit. And that's it. So glad you could join us and come back and see us again. And if you get a chance, subscribe to this channel or come on to dailyraz.com, because I do write blogs on all of this, and you'll be able to read more. So thanks for joining us.